From above, the world looks calm, a long emerald ribbon cutting through endless blue. But listen closely. Beneath the surface, silence hums like tension held too long. This is where the Amazon River meets the Atlantic Ocean, two bodies of water that touch, collide, but never truly blend. Fresh and salt, motion and weight, resistance and surrender. It shouldn't be possible. But here, impossibility is habit. For hundreds of kilometers, a soft yet defiant border stretches through the sea, a milky green current sliding over deep navy, each refusing to yield. It's called the meeting of the waters, but it feels more like a balance so fragile even a breath could break it. Scientists see chemistry. Fishermen see mystery. Satellites see a living scar cutting across the planet's skin. And yet, it's not drawn by tide or rock or man. It's an invisible seam, one that nature maintains with precision until it doesn't. Would you cross it? Would you trust water that refuses to mix? Or would you step back and watch the border breathe? Because here, silence isn't peace, it's resistance. You can still hear the hum beneath the calm. Sometimes, resistance is the only thing holding two worlds apart. Listen closer. The fight never ends. Beneath that trembling seam lies a physics lesson written in motion. The river isn't weak. It's racing, rushing forward with such speed that it carries its lighter, fresh water far into the ocean's denser salt mass. Weight presses down. Momentum strains upward. Density versus velocity. The ocean should swallow it whole. Yet momentum defeats gravity's pull. The true genius of nature isn't keeping them apart. It's how close it lets them come without exploding. For hours, even days, the fresh flow glides untouched above the brine. To the instruments, it's a war of pressure and patience. A fragile truce called a picnic line. A liquid frontier where two densities meet and neither yields. Storms churn it. Tides invert it. The ocean wins, just for a moment. Then the river pushes back. Sometimes, the line disappears. Look closely at the milky swirl where emerald bleeds into navy. That's tension resolving itself in motion. The silent negotiation that keeps the world from becoming one blurred, undifferentiated sea. Because here, balance is built from disagreement. Would you still call it peace if the calm depended on conflict? And now, that truce faces its hardest test. The seam between fresh and salt water isn't a line drawn on a map. It's a living negotiation of forces. From above, it shimmers like a ribbon of emerald fraying into navy. Stop. Look closer. Underneath, the story is far more intricate. Temperature, salinity, and momentum collide to form an invisible barrier. A dynamic frontier that resists easy mixing. Scientists call it a picnic line, but in truth, it's simpler. A water's force field, engineered by nature itself. Drop a branch into the river and watch it glide along the boundary. Tiny sediment clouds swirl, hesitant, almost retreating, as if sensing the ocean's weight pushing back. The water knows its own rules, do you? Each microcurrent is a push and pull of immense scale. The river drives forward with momentum. The ocean presses down with sheer mass. Together, they create a fragile truce, a balance so perfect that even a gentle gust of wind or a passing boat could ripple it. Is conflict the price of peace? Life thrives in this tension. Plankton, fish, and microorganisms exploit the invisible seam, adapted to conditions lethal elsewhere. Predators patrol edges, hunting where currents collide, while tiny creatures drift safely in the turbulence. The seam is alive, a hidden ecosystem suspended between two worlds. Imagine yourself diving across this divide. Would you feel the shock as fresh meets salt? The cool intrusion of ocean against the warm, muddy river? The resistance is real, a tangible force that seems almost conscious, because here, balance is built from disagreement. The river's murky depths hide surprises, swirling whirlpools, sediment clouds that dance like smoke, light refracting in unexpected patterns. Each moment is a lesson in motion, patience, and compromise. The picnic line isn't static. It breathes, fluctuates, and negotiates its own existence. And yet, despite friction and resistance, the waters coexist without losing identity, a mirror to the delicate balance humanity struggles to maintain. But some boundaries aren't just physical, they're sacred. Crossing the divide isn't just about swimming from one density to another. It's a test. The fresh water pushes upward, the salt presses down, and between them lies a seam invisible to the eye, but tangible in every bubble, every ripple. You imagine wading in, feet tingling at the cross-current, the invisible seam tightening like a rubber band. Because here, balance is built from disagreement. Would you dare step into water that refuses to fully yield? Or are you letting the external tide slowly erode your own internal shore? The choice is yours, and the water knows the difference. Sailors once whispered that crossing the seam without respect invites misfortune. Indigenous traditions spoke of rivers as living borders, boundaries that protect and nourish at once. Limits are not obstacles, they are frameworks for life. What if resistance is the shape of survival? The picnic line, a fragile truce, a liquid frontier, forms naturally, where two densities meet and neither yields. Momentum pushes, density resists, and yet, the truce holds. Is peace just the shadow of conflict? And yet, sometimes, the line disappears. A sudden storm, a shifting current, and the river's carefully drawn boundary wavers. The hum beneath the calm is still there, but now it carries a note of unease. For hundreds of kilometers, the water obeys its own rules, and so must we, if we wish to cross safely. The conscious mind, like the dense salt water, is clear, deliberate, and exact. The subconscious, like the fresh, murky flow, is alive with possibility, untamed and essential. They obey, but only because of the pressure below. Which boundaries in your life are you currently allowing the tide to dissolve? Because, as we're about to discover, the earth itself is losing its ability to draw its own lines. Here, many conflicts ripple outward. Tiny negotiations determine survival. And as we watch from afar, we must ask ourselves, are the boundaries we cling to sacred or negotiable? Listen closer, as the fight never ends. For centuries, the boundary held. The freshwater river pressed northward, the salt of the Atlantic pressed back, and between them, life flourished in secret. A living seam, a fragile negotiation of pressure and patience. But now the line wavers. Climate change, rising temperatures, shifting currents, forces unseen yet unstoppable. The picnic line trembles. For the first time, the natural order risks dissolution. The freshwater pushes upward, the salt presses downward. Stop. Look closer. Tiny plankton, microscopic life, fish nurseries, all the ecosystems that depended on separation begin to collide. Harmony turns into chaos. The colors blur, the seam gasps. The earth is losing its ability to draw its own lines. Storms buffet the coast. Sediment flows where it should not. The water pulses and surges as though the planet itself is holding its breath. No apology can hold back the tide. Even in collapse, the line teaches. Resistance persists. The fight continues. And in fleeting moments where the line holds, life's resilience is almost breathtaking. Listen closer. The hum beneath the calm grows urgent. Would you cross it now? Would you dare step into a border that might vanish while your eyes are on it? Or would you watch, helpless, as the margin erodes? Knowing the survival of unique life depends on this invisible frontier, humans are catalysts, the unintended architects of chaos. It's a lesson writ in motion, an urgent reflection of boundaries we take for granted in our own lives. The fight never ends. But now, the stakes are permanent. We are learning that some boundaries, once erased, can never be redrawn. If the border vanishes, so does the lesson. Pause. Listen. The river remembers. Will we? The river and the sea have danced this delicate waltz for millennia. Every ripple, every collision of currents, tells a story older than humans. Here, silence isn't peace, it's resistance. You've seen the line waver, watched life negotiate, and felt the tension rise. Every boundary we ignore, every sacred line we allow to dissolve, mirrors the borders within our own minds and communities. Notice the moment your breath hesitates when facing the unfamiliar. That's your seam. Would you dare confront your internal rivers? Step into the parts of yourself you usually avoid, the thoughts, the fears, the truths that refuse to blend easily. Would you step forward when the world insists on uniformity, or retreat into the calm of indifference? Because here, balance is built from disagreement. The river hums beneath the calm, whispering lessons of patience, negotiation, and vigilance. Listen closer, the fight never ends. So as you reflect on the invisible frontiers in your own life, choose a side. Are you the resisting river or the yielding sea? Comment below and tell us why. The river remembers. Will we?